Good morning. This is Scott Fletcher.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The meeting is recording. I'm not sure of a quorum yet. I see Commissioner Pennington. Commissioner Pennington, are you with us?
Yes, I am. I'm just trying to mute my computer. Yes, I'm with you. Sorry.
Very well. And, Commissioner Feinstein, are you with us? Okay, well, Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum, and the meeting is recording. It is 10 o'clock.
Very good. Thank you. I hereby call to order this meeting of the Arizona Boxing and Mixed Martial Arts Commission. Today is Wednesday, October 4th, 2023, and the time is 10 a.m. With those commissioners that are in attendance, please identify themselves and state as to whether they're here via telephone or Google Meets or in person.
This is Joe Pennington. I'm participating via Google Meet and telephone.
Very good. Welcome, Commissioner. I am Scott Fletcher, and I'm participating via telephone. Let's move into B, our new business. B1 is pursuant to ARS Section 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. The new license application submitted by Mr. Hadiel Isaac Flores for a 2023 professional boxer license. Mr. Vella, you speak to this application, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Flores is 41 years old. I had the pleasure of reviewing him twice. I watched, they sent me videos of him sparring, as well as I also watched him spar live. And I'll say that I think he's in very good shape. I think that his skills meet what we would expect to see for a professional fighter. And he does have an amateur record of 18-2. But he wishes to make his professional debut. I included the notes to his training regimen in the commission packet, and he had mentioned, I'm going to read it aloud for the record, his training sessions are anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 hours a day. He says he trains 5 to 6 days a week with 1 day of good rest. He spars 2 to 3 days a week, and he runs a minimum of 3 miles a day with a maximum of 7 miles on some days. Strength training, he does 3 to 4 days a week, and it includes kettlebell, battle ropes, and some light weight trainings. He says in the U.S. he is 12-1, and in Mexico he is 6-2. So apologies there. He's 18-3, his overall record. But he says he wants to turn pro at this time because he feels that he wants to give back to those that have supported him in his life. He wants to honor his mother, his father, and his first coach, who has passed away. He said that he also wants to do it for his son, his coaches, and all of his team that believe in him. He said that he feels that he's in the best shape of his life at this time, and he has a great coach that pushes him and motivates him daily. His experience as an amateur, he said he will never forget, and that it's prepared him for this challenge. And he says that at 41, he's better prepared than many fighters younger than him. He said he feels very excited about his upcoming bout and feels that he will deliver a great performance. He's never felt better about anything in his life than he feels right now, and he said he is ready, and he has not experienced any recent injuries lately. With that, all of that said, sir, and upon my review of Mr. Flores, I do recommend his approval for a professional license.
Terrific. Thank you, Mr. Vella. It's a very thorough piece you've done there, and it's very helpful for us. Commissioner Pennington, what are your thoughts?
Mr. Chairman, I have no real questions. I want to commend Mr. Vella for providing the form that I had not seen before on the evaluation of the fighters and the responses from the fighters. That was very helpful. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome,
Yes,
sir.
agreed. Thank you, Commissioner. I agree. It helps us immeasurably to know who we're talking about and how they're preparing. So it's invaluable. If there are no further questions, the chair would be open to a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604, that we grant a new boxing license for Mr. Jadel Isaac Flores for a 2023 professional boxing license.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. I am going to second that motion. We now have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0. Congratulations, Mr. Flores. Let's press on to B2, which is pursuant to ARS Section 5-227B, delegation of authority to suspend or revoke license other than for a promoter. The Boxing and MMA Division requests that the Commission delegate to the Executive Director the authority to render a decision to suspend or revoke a license of a combatant and of all other licensees except the license of a promoter. The delegation would still preserve under AAC R19-2-C608 the licensee's right to appeal to the Commission of the Executive Director's decision, to request a hearing by the Commission of the Executive Director's decision, or to seek a review of the decision. Any action to be taken against the promoter's license shall be referred to the Commission for such determination would not be determined by the Executive Director. Mr. Vella, will you please speak to this?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Historically, I'm going to defer to Mr. Juan Estrada to talk about historically what has been done in the past to shed some context on this situation.
Yeah, this is Juan Estrada. Mr. Chairman, so as you know, based on the history of this, a lot of authority in the past had been delegated to the Executive Director here at the Boxing and MMA Commission, where we kind of handle most of the day-to-day business, anything that comes with a significant importance that needs immediate attention. We pretty much take care of it here. The reason for this coming up again is since we have pretty much the new commissioner, Mr. Era Feinstein, we want to make sure that we revive and renew a lot of these delegations so that if ever there's a question, that we're able to respond that yes, the delegation was, we were given the authority to make sure that we were able to take these actions when such things occur, and also not take away from your time every time we get an infraction. As you know, lately we've been getting a lot of infractions that technically would require special commission meetings or even be put on the regular commission meetings. However, how we've been doing it in the past, again, is this delegation has been given to the Executive Director, so we're able to fine, revoke, and or suspend, and then take it in our level. If a fighter or licensee ever wishes to appeal that, then obviously we would go ahead and move it up to your level to make sure that they get all the opportunity they can to make sure that we offer them that due diligence. With that said, again, this was more put out there for the new commissioner to make them aware of the delegation and for those in the public so they know that we are within our authority to do so.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Estrada. I understand your desire to be able to make these decisions on site at the time they need to be made too. And calling a special commission meeting is always tricky as well. Commissioner Pennington, what are your thoughts on this?
Mr. Chairman, I've thought about this quite a bit. We have delegated quite a bit of authority to the Executive Director. I don't know what the proximate cause, if any, of this request is, and why it would not have come up in a regular commission meeting. So in a special meeting, it raises my curiosity as to why we're trying to do this in a special meeting and not do it in a regular meeting. So I would like some information on that, some explanation of why this is so critical to do in a special meeting.
So,
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, I can answer that. Commissioner, the practicality of the matter is what we're concerned with. So, for instance, if a fighter violates a rule and a decision needs to be made, calling a special meeting to order helps us to expedite that and make the decision within a reasonable amount of time, as opposed to waiting for the next regular meeting. But even more so, by delegating that to the executive director, we allow ourselves to make that decision within a reasonable amount of time, and also provide the disciplined fighter or licensee, I should say, with the opportunity to appeal that decision to the commission and be heard on the matter. So it just provides more of a framework for walking down that disciplinary action.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Fellow, that did not answer my question. My question is, why are we dealing with this issue in a special meeting and not in a regular meeting? So what's the proximate cause for the urgency to put this on a special meeting agenda?
For this, I see what you're saying. For this particular delegation matter, I understand. I apologize.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that, there were two instances in which violations had occurred that need to be addressed within the last month, and so that is ultimately why we're doing it in a special meeting, so that we can address those matters in a reasonable amount of time, as opposed to waiting until October 18th.
Okay. I think I understand that rationale. So, Mr. Chairman, if I might, I really have no objection to the executive director being delegated that authority. But I would suggest and I would request that if the executive director exercises that authority, that he notify the commission within 24 hours of through email or whatever of the decision that he's made and the rationale for making that decision.
Thank you, Commissioner. I tend to agree. I think that makes some sense. Mr. Vella, Mr. Estrada, does that sound doable?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner, we will certainly be sure to inform you of those matters.
So, and just to add, Mr. Chairman, also, and Mr. Pennington, our intention was kind of to do, if we ever run into multiple disciplines or anything that where we need to take action per se, our intentions were to include it in our regular commission meeting as a report to the commission, so that you're aware of everything that we are executing or taking action on.
Very good.
Appreciate
Thank
that,
you,
Mr.
Mr. Estrada.
Estrada.
Yeah, and I appreciate your thoughts,
However-
Commissioner. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate Mr. Estrada's thought. However, I do think whenever we are suspending a licensee, that we should not wait until a regular meeting to notify the commission, but rather notify them via email or some other form of communication, and then it can be on the regular meeting agenda as well. But I just think whenever we get to suspending a licensee, that the commission should know within 24 hours of what action has been taken.
Yes, sir,
Thank you,
we'll make
Commissioner.
that happen.
Yeah, I agree. It's important that we know it's happening when it's happening. Hearing it on the street is not the best way to catch up on these things. So if we do move forward on this, it would be important that we all know what's happened as it's happening, if we can. I have no further questions. If you all are requesting a motion on this, I assume, and the chair would be open to such if Commissioner Pennington feels interested in crafting one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move that pursuant to ARS 5-227B, that we delegate the authority to suspend or revoke a license other than a promoter to the executive director, provided that the commission is notified within 24 hours of such action, and if necessary, that it appear on the next regular commission agenda. And again, I say if it's necessary. Otherwise, I think I've covered. So that would be the motion.
Very
So
good.
this is-
It's
record to reflect, I've been on the meeting. You could not hear me, so I've been trying to vote and discuss, but I've been unable to be heard. So I think you can hear me now because I joined via Google Meets.
Yes.
But I will second the motion, and I agree wholeheartedly that if there's some urgent matter where a fighter needs to be suspended, then we as the commissioner should be notified within 24 hours.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like we're all on the same page. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0. And welcome, Commissioner Feinstein. It's good to hear your voice. Let's
Thank
press
you.
on. Mr. Vella, she is called to the public. Are there folks that would like to talk to us?
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I do not see any hands raised.
Okay. Let's press on to D, the call to the commission. Commission members or the executive director may introduce a summary of current events, ask questions, and or make comments. Mr. Vella, anything you'd like to talk about?
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to mention that we do have our stakeholder meeting on November 20th. The invitation for that has been sent out to all stakeholders. And if they have not yet, I want to remind them, if they have not yet RSVP'd for that, please do. I would also like to give an update. We are closing in on our SportGate concussion protocol and finally launching it relatively soon. Right now, we're working with Dr. Oda to finalize some details as far as what our parameters will be for that testing. But nonetheless, it will be coming very soon. And I would like to touch upon Commissioner Feinstein had requested some rules to be reviewed legally. And so we have been working on that internally, and we'll give an update and intend to include that on the agenda item, if you're okay with it, Mr. Chairman, on the next regular meeting on October 18th.
You have my approval. Yes, please do. Thank you, Mr. Vella. Commissioner Feinstein, anything you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, just I appreciate Danny and the commission helping us to better understand our ability to adapt and change rules as might be necessary for different sports or the evolution of the sports with which we're tasked to oversee. And as part of that, Mr. Vella, could you also bring some understanding to us about the age for fighters that requires a special meeting to review? And I know in the past we've talked about how we might possibly amend or change that policy to not include as many fighters and potentially look at the cutoff that we're currently using and what would be involved in potentially changing that. So as part of that review of the legislation and the rules, could you also bring that to the October meeting?
Yes, sir, Commissioner, I will certainly study the matter, and with the chairman's permission, I will include it in the agenda on October 18th.
Please do, Mr. Vella. Please do. Anything else, Commissioner Feinstein?
Nothing else for me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pennington, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Regarding Mr. Estrada's comment in the previous agenda item regarding various items that have been delegated to the executive director, various authorities of the commission that have been delegated to the executive director, it might be worthwhile to develop a list of all of those delegations that we have done so that we could formally reapprove those and eliminate any concern that someone may have that that delegation has not been reactivated in a recent fashion.
Thank you. Commissioner, Mr. Vella, will you speak to that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioner, we will certainly study that as well and look back on historical records to identify those delegations so that we can bring them to your attention.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might, I don't think the October meeting is necessary to do that. We're going to have a pretty full workload for the executive director between now and then. So if we can have something along that line in November or December, that would be great. Give him some time to put it all together.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you,
That makes
Commissioner.
sense.
We will certainly do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Bella. There being nothing else necessary to talk about, I'm going to close down D, our call to the commission, and press toward the announcement that our next regularly scheduled commission meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, October 18th, 2023, as a subject change based on a quorum. So that's 2 weeks out. That will be a good one, too. And F is our final piece, adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. We are officially adjourned. Thank you all for your time. Take care now.
Thank you.